It's too high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What's going on, guys? My name is Kel.
I'm Sarah.
And welcome back to the podcast, Married Life Podcast. And obviously, the purpose of this podcast is to talk about marriage, to talk about faith, to talk about love and intimacy and everything in between. And no, guys, wherever you're at, we pray that you're having a great day, blessed day, and just hang out with us. And yeah.
Declaring a great day, declaring that over your lives.
Yes.
And declaring that this podcast gives you some inspiration, some clarity on certain things. So
yeah, that's our goal. You know, we pray to inspire you and connect with you and amen.
I'm in love.
Yeah.
I'm in love with you.
I thought he was gonna say you're in love with God.
You know that's number one. I'm sorry, babe, but
Nah.
I'm just staring at you and I'm just like, I'm in love.
You like my flow? I switched it up today. You know?
You always switch it up.
You like my bucket hats?
I love your
This
style.
is like summer flow.
I love your style.
Yo, I got this on 7-Eleven. I was like, they rocking stuff in 7-Eleven?
Really, babe?
Yeah. I like it.
Okay.
I didn't expect it. I always go in there to get coffee and stuff. I like it. But see, welcome back. This is like episode 103, I think. Nah, it's episode like 8, 9.
10.
I don't think we should number it anymore. We just you
You're
can't.
the
I'll number it on the title when you see it. But as far as like,
This is live, guys.
yeah, we live, unedited.
If you think this is unedited, this is this is us.
Yeah. Today is 11 o'clock at night. The kids are fast asleep, and we're out here trying to get a podcast, spend time together too, talk.
That's
I
right.
thought, what's up with our handshake?
That.
Nah,
Te
I
pasa.
forgot.
You always forget.
Sorry,
Because it's not something you like.
I apologize. Tu me ama.
Con todo mi corazón.
So,
What's something good that happened to you this week, babe?
something good? Well, I'm a electronics fan and stuff like that. So, I would say we got this little new mic setup.
You got all your equipment.
Yeah, we're still setting up. Like, we're still trying to figure out our flow and our location. And like, this took too long to set up. But we're figuring it out, like. But I like the whole mic setup. I'm like Googling and looking at reviews and just setting that stuff up. But
That's something that I admire about you. Every time you're like into something, you put effort into it. Like you Google, you read books, you'll take a class. Like you're really, really into that kind of stuff. And I admire that about you. And that's in every area, not just like in everything you do. Like I remember you pulled our carpets when we moved into our house. We had
Yo.
carpets in the bedrooms. And I'm like, I need these carpets out of here.
But you helped out too, pregnant.
Dime de
Dime.
eso. You saw that?
Tu hiciste.
Pregnant and all. I was
I
pulling
recorded that.
You have a video?
I got a little video. I saw
Yeah, we
you.
got to post that one day.
You doing the flooring too?
I was doing the flooring. I was pulling and doing the flooring, pregnant. But it's funny that, you Googled it. You did everything. You did your research and you did it. And I admire that about you.
Appreciate
I
it.
did. So you're excited that you got all your equipment?
Yeah, got some equipment and yeah. So what about you, my love?
I would have to say, I took 2 days off last week,
Oh, you did.
back to back.
You did.
And I never call out of work.
Nope.
I never take a day off. My husband literally has to beg me to take days off. But yeah, I had 2 days off. Some things came up and I had 2 days off. My son had to get oral surgery and there was other things that were happening, but it was just a lot. And I took the days off, but that was good. But also today we actually had another Kingdom family, another family from our church.
Oh, yeah.
That came over for dinner, late lunch, early dinner kind of thing. And it was a blessing to have them over, It was a true blessing. So shout out to the Reyes family.
To the Reyes, yeah.
Reyes family. It was a pleasure and an honor having you guys over. It was exciting. And really, it's just nice to have friends like that. You know what
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean? Like friends that are in the same walk as you. So I
Right.
appreciate those times because I feel like as Christians, people have this expectation of who you are and what you're supposed to be, you know? And so being able to be real with who you are, I think that's what favors us. God's favors over us because of who we are. We're authentic. We are transparent. What you see is what you get kind
Yeah,
of thing,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know? But we always show and it shows and we don't have to show. It shows who God is in our life. And that's number one. You know what I mean? God is before anything for me as an individual and for you as an individual. And it transpires, you know what I mean? And then as a union, you know, God, then you, then my kids, you know? So it was a blessing to have them over.
Yeah,
It
it was
was really
great.
exciting for today.
Yeah, it was
And it
great.
was
Great.
last minute kind of thing, but it was dope.
Yeah, it's good to have people over that, that you guys like admire also and
Yeah.
on the same, same wavelength, even like with same experience with children because we
Right.
got kids in the same age range and just to hang out with good friends and good family.
To have kids, to be able to handle kids, you know, church life, life, everything is just, it's a lot. And so to have some other one else that is similar in that wave is dope. So that was something exciting that happened.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's cool. So today I wanted to talk about some lessons that we've had
In
being
our
married.
marriage.
Yeah. Now, we celebrated our 9 years married, and we wanted to talk about like 9 lessons we've learned in our 9 years of marriage,
Okay.
and to talk about it and just just vibe and just even lessons. These lessons are like stuff that we have to continue to do.
Right.
It's not like
Right.
a one-time thing. Like you
Right.
don't just be patient one time.
Right.
We got to continue doing it.
Right.
But yeah, I wanted to get that through. And 9 marriage lessons in 9 years. And I wrote number 1.
So we picked 9 because.
We picked 9 because it's 9 and 9 years married, 9 lessons, even though there's been more than that, but
Right.
thought it was a good title too.
Okay.
So yeah, number 1, have God as your foundation. And don't focus much on each other and then lose sight of God who joined your union.
That is so important.
Have God as your foundation.
I think it's so funny because we talked about this earlier with the Reyes.
Yeah.
We had mentioned this, and I always say this, like I don't know how couples are doing it that don't have Christ as the foundation.
Right.
Like it's hard. Marriage is hard, right? And doing it without God, I'm speechless sometimes.
Right.
And not to knock anyone that is married and has been strong. God bless your marriage. You know what I mean? But it's very rare those that have. And so for us, I think having God as the foundation has been key in our marriage. I mean, we started, when it's like when you build a building, right? And you're building this building. If you build it with clay or sand and a tsunami comes, that building's going to collapse, right?
Yeah.
And so if you build it with steel, you build it with materials, great materials, not materials that are going to collapse on you. And that's exactly what God is. Like you build your marriage on God as your foundation and you continue to keep him there. Your building is going to continue growing. And there's not going to be, the turbulence is going to come. You're not going anywhere. That marriage is staying strong, but it has to be true for both. It can't be like I'm believing more than you and I'm leaving. That doesn't work. You know what I mean? And that's why it's so important. In the Bible, it speaks about that being even in yoke. You know what I mean? Because if you're not even in yoke, even before marriage, it's going to be a hard.
Yeah, rocky road.
That's going to be a hard road, even if you make it. Because even in yoke is having that same belief.
Right.
Having that same belief of God is our foundation.
Correct.
Without God, this doesn't exist.
Correct. No,
He is our union.
It's like like you said, having a foundation, a base foundation, and it's crazy. Even like when I forgot, I was watching one of these history channels. They're talking about like built the skyscrapers that are built in the city, right? The way they're built is if it's like a 20-story building, it has to go at least 20 stories down so the foundation can be solidified,
Right.
like if turbulence hits, hurricanes and just so it could be a stable structure.
Right.
It needs to go that deep,
Right.
So it's like the foundation of God builds that deep in our lives, and you need it because it's the core values, of faith, love, peace, joy, and knowing that He's the center of our lives, and no matter what happens between us, God is still core.
In us.
And obviously we bring that to the table in our
Absolutely.
marriage.
Absolutely.
But yeah, having God as our foundation, these 9 years, we've realized, no matter when the hard times come,
He has definitely been
he
there.
holds us strong, and
Oh,
and
absolutely.
we stay together
Absolutely.
because of the hard times, because God is our foundation
Absolutely.
through the hard times. So
It's so funny you say that, and I'm so sorry to interrupt you, hon. But I want you to finish your thought. If you
no,
if
I
you-
was done.
It's so important. Like, God has to be it. Like, He has to be that center for us, because it starts with us. But even us showing that to our children.
Yeah, the kids
You
see
know what I
it.
mean? The kids are. I mean, our kids are picking up on that from day one.
Yeah,
Like,
and we're not faking the funk out
exactly.
here. Like this is honest.
This is honest.
Honest. God is our core, and we
Right.
want God in our lives. We seek Him for our own personal lives, and obviously it bleeds out to our children.
Exactly. I mean, and it's not a. We don't have a religion. It's not a religion that we have. It's really, we have a true relationship with our Father, and He knows the good, the bad, and the ugly. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
He knows it all. So that is definitely, I would say number one. Good pick on number one, honey.
Number one, you like it?
I liked your number one. That
Number
was a
one.
good number one.
Yeah, and in our 9 years, without
Definitely.
God,
We wouldn't exist.
without God, we would not be together, straight up. And because most people, the first turbulence that comes in their lives, they're just tired of each other. They break it off.
Yeah.
Because marriage comes from God originally. So making that like not being not when God is not that core in your life, like you can look at turbulences that come in your life and you call it quits.
Right.
So-
it's easy to call it quits. It's easy to call it quits. So God is definitely our foundation for sure.
And I wanted to share a verse on that, Matthew 7:24-29, that talks about that. It says, when we build, this is just like a summary, when we build our foundation on a firm foundation, which is on Christ, we can withstand whatever comes our way. Our foundation based on God produces steadfast faith and life. The Bible talks about it too. And so when you build on Christ, it builds faith in you and in your life.
Right.
Number one. So number two, I think this is key in general, communication.
I know it's so cliche, right?
All right, like, yeah, we hear it like, communication.
But it's true. I think it's extremely true. If we don't have communication, then it's not gonna. If you're in communication, not just talking. I mean, communication as being like transparent with your partner. Like, hun, I didn't like the fact that you rolled your eyes when I said X, Y, and Z. He's laughing because he did this today, guys.
I spit everywhere. Sorry.
Did you not? And so
Right,
we're in the car, and I
catch
said
myself.
something, and I see him. I'm looking at him through the mirror because I was actually sitting in the back seat at this time, and he rolled his eyes like he was annoyed with what I said or something.
Right.
And I was like, "But why did you have to roll your eyes?" Like, being that transparent to my husband to be able to call him out on those things.
And and I said it was my mistake.
No, of course, but that's the importance of that communication between us. Like, I could have gotten mad, like, why are you rolling your eyes? And right? I could have got hype, right? But that's not what our relationship is on. And I've been learning so much about, these 9 years is what am I fighting to win?
Right.
Or am I fighting because this is for us? You know what I mean? And so you have to be wise and smart on what battles you want to fight and what battles you're like, nah, let me just in love and be like, hun, X, Y, and Z. And I think that today was a prime example of that communication was like, but why'd you have to roll your eyes? Like, when I'm saying, why
Right.
did you roll your eyes? That's just my preference. And you caught yourself and you were like, yo, you know what? You're right. And so I'm trying to do that more rather than come out my face, because I usually can.
Right. No, yeah. But yeah, I wrote here, open, honest, and respectful communication. Not I wrote here, not complaining, and it's all about your tone, right? Because you can communicate, and you can really sometimes just come across as complaining to your partner,
Absolutely.
right? And like you can communicate everything, but you're really just like throwing up, bleh, inventing, and that's not like honest communication has to have respect in it as well, right? So, and also about your tone, because there's ways of how you communicate, right? Like, like you like the word "hey," right? I could just say "hey," or "hey," or "hey." You know
Hey.
what I'm saying? So it's all your tone, because
Right,
in your
right.
tone there's love, right? So when you're speaking, speak in love. Typically, like that's to get your communication across correctly. So that's key in our relationship, that we've learned that communication is key,
Yeah, it's
and we got to remind
definitely.
ourselves, because this is not
Yeah.
a one-time thing.
It's not
Like,
a one-time fix. This is always, you're constantly adjusting. You're constantly correcting yourself. And I think that that's huge. I've been trying my hardest to really be careful with my delivery
right,
and be careful with my tone, like you said, because you have always told me, like, babe, it's not what you're saying, it's the tone. And I'm
right,
just like, well, what do you want me to say, honey? Do you want me to say it like this? And you're like, better. Like, you literally are
yeah,
communicating that to me, right? You're like telling me,
right,
like, yeah, I need you to be softer with me,
right,
when you're speaking to me about these things. And so, but I think that also in that communication, key is you can't be sensitive. Like, if you're being corrected, and not even correct, if something's being brought to your attention, you can't be offensive, and you have to really sit back and observe what the outsider is telling you, because they're looking at you from the outside in. And I know for me it was very hard to hear those corrections,
right.
because I mean, not that I'm one that thinks I'm always right, that's not my personality at all, baby. Being sarcastic. It's hard to get correction, you know what I mean? It's not easy. And so having to really try to work on me for us to be good is a part of that communication.
Yeah. No, yes, super key.
Yeah.
Communication and your tone, delivery. Um, but it's good that when you catch yourself, that's part of growing.
Yeah.
Because you're being self-aware
Yes.
of not to do it again. Like, and you're not the same person as the
Oh,
person I met 9 years
absolutely
ago.
not.
I mean, not that I married 9 years ago.
Right.
Right. Like, it's not
I was about to say we met more years than that,
yeah,
but yeah, I
but
know
I'm
what you
talking about
meant.
married. So you're not the same person since we started
And
our
I will hope
marriage.
not, because if I'm the same person, then there was no growth with God with that.
Right,
You know what I
right,
mean?
right.
Like, I should have had growth. We should have had
Yeah,
growth.
so that's key. Catching yourself. Okay, you can make the mistake a million times, but each time be closer to catch yourself. Oh, you're right. I did roll my eyes, and I do it like unconsciously sometimes. And then, but now next time you're communicating to me, let me watch my facial expressions, because it affects you,
Yes.
and that's part of communication.
Yes.
You know.
I think, and I want to be a little transparent here. I'm going to share something personal. I think that in that communication, a lot of things come up. And for me, I feel like a lot of our arguments that had happened in the past were a lot because I've always had to defend myself. You know what I mean? Like, I've always had to put this guard up, and I'm always ready to hit back. And I know I've said this in other podcasts, like, when I'm arguing, I'm shooting to kill kind of thing.
Bang bang.
I'm shooting below the belt. I'm trying to kill out here. And I really had to sit back and get professional help. Like, I go to therapy, and I'm like really trying to get to the bottom of why, right? Why am I like this? Why am I reacting to the person I love, to the man of my dreams, to the man that is my everything, the person that I am in love with? Like, why is my reaction to him like this? You know what I mean? And so going to therapy and peeling back a lot of that, it's really comes like, and I'm getting to it, it's like, it really has come down to my upbringings, my life, my past, my testimonies, and things that have happened in my life. You know what I mean? And so I've always had to be that protector for myself.
Right.
You know what I mean? I always had to have one foot up before anything, because I was my own protector. I didn't have no one to protect me. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so that comes from that.
Right.
And so I think that it's key is when you're going through these things, doing that self check and being okay with your partner saying, like, sweetie, I think you need to go and get some therapy or something because there's more going on. Like, I just turned on the light. Why are you flipping on me? You know what I
Right,
mean?
right, right.
And so being okay with that and
Mm-hmm.
really saying, like, self checking, like, yo, there's something going on and I need to fix this, because what you don't realize is that we bring a lot of these things into our marriage. And it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that I'm like, I don't believe in God because I had. No, it doesn't mean that,
Mm-hmm.
like, I know who God is in my life. I
Right.
know that I have God, but there was many things that happened to me, BC, like I always say, Sarah before Christ.
BC. Yeah.
Sarah before Christ, BC. So Sarah before Christ, there was many things that happened, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And even though I've given that all to God, but that trauma has stayed, you know what I
Right.
mean? And that baggage you bring with you into your marriage.
Mm.
And I didn't realize how much of that I was bringing on, because I'm like, I'm a Christian. I believe in Christ. I know God rules everything around me. Like, I'm good. But in reality, I was still holding on to a lot of those things because my actions were saying different.
Right,
You
right.
know what I mean? So that's self check. And it's just also like, God didn't call me to be that person.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I am new in Him and I know that for a fact.
Right.
So I've struggled a lot. I struggle, and I still today, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
perfect. I
Mm-hmm.
still struggle a lot when people do things to hurt me.
Right.
I struggle a lot with my reaction to that, and have to constantly remind myself, like, no, you know, God is in control.
Right.
No matter what turbulence comes, God is in control.
That's good. That's good to catch yourself, because it's something that you bring it to your relationships, and not only your marriage but other friendships,
Friendships.
right? And then and you can also deposit that to your children too,
Absolutely.
because then they react the same way as you to their future. So I'm trying to, yeah, me too. To catch myself and be a better man of God, be a better husband, be a better brother, to because your kids catch those things too, and then you act like, why are they acting like that? I was like, wait a minute. I remember saying that.
So,
The,
I'm laughing. Today I showed you a meme, right? With the dinosaur.
oh yeah, the
And it was
dinosaur
like
meme,
this
the Toy
dinosaur from
Story.
Toy Story, right? You know the dinosaur from the Rex. He comes out and it's like sunny day, the clouds is clean. There's no clouds, the sky is clear, and it's like me telling myself as a parent, it's gonna be a good day, and I'm coming out. And then at the bottom meme is the dinosaur
From Jurassic Park.
from Jurassic Park, and
Like,
it's like,
ah,
and it's like me when I interact with my kids in the middle of the day. And it's like, it's true. Like, I really,
right.
those are areas that we work on. It's like being a better parent, because these kids, they take you to the edge.
Yeah.
They literally take you to that edge where
Yeah.
you're about to jump.
Yeah, God. I think God puts that in our lives to mold our character too. Like children
Absolutely.
definitely mold your character.
God doesn't say oops. He
Nope.
doesn't. He doesn't make mistakes. So
Nope. Nope. But yeah, so number two, communication is key. And then I also wrote here, to be honest. Honesty is crucial in building trust in your marriage, in that communication, because you got to be truthful with your feelings, your actions, and intentions, and it can help prevent misunderstandings. Um, and it creates more intimacy with your partner, being honest and in that communication, right? And then I also wrote here, don't keep secrets,
oh no.
right?
Yeah. That's
Because that's
important.
part of like intimacy. You start opening up, right? And then that clear communication. Don't keep secrets. Secret bank accounts, I wrote, or secret addictions.
Yeah.
Drug, gambling, porn, or diseases. Like bulimia and other diseases. So it's
That's so good.
like those things. Like, just be transparent
I think
and honest with your partner in that communication, because you're building intimacy, and
absolutely.
that union,
Absolutely.
you're getting closer, and it seems a little bit irritating because you're opening yourself up and you're being more vulnerable, but it's being your this is your life partner, your husband, your wife, that you want the best for each other.
I totally agree with you. I mean, there's nothing that I can say that I have never shared with you, and vice versa. Like, even with therapy, when I've gone to therapy and I'm like, and then my therapist is like, have you shared this with your husband? And I'm like, oh yeah, he knows that.
Right,
Like,
right.
there's never like a time that I'm like, I didn't share that with you. You know what I mean? But that's important. I know there's definitely couples that struggle with certain things because of embarrassment,
Yeah,
shame.
it seems, yeah. Just
There's just
take
other things to
take
take
baby
to.
steps though.
Yeah.
Take baby steps to doesn't have to be all in one
Yeah, because that
shot.
can also be shocking for the person receiving, on the receiving end. So I think for both, vice versa, you know?
Gotcha. Number two, communication. Number three, compromise. Number three.
Marriage is about compromise.
So we've compromised a lot in our 9 years. I mean, and we continue to do it.
My husband, guys, compromised 3 years of his life, of his schedule.
Our life.
Yeah,
Well,
but more affected
yeah,
you.
yeah. Like it affected me.
He changed his work schedule. He changed a lot of things so that I can finish a dream of mine. And it was to finish grad school. And it took me 3 years because I did part-time, of course. I'm a full-time worker, full-time mom, full-time wife.
That was part time.
That was part-time. That's why it took 3 years, remember? But it was part-time, but I took like four classes.
Taking like 3 to 4 classes with an
a
internship
semester.
and then meet it.
Yeah, don't remind me of that.
It's over. It's over.
But I feel like you compromised a lot for those 3 years, like your work schedule, time spending with the family. You definitely lost a lot of time with the family. Vice versa, because I was here, but I'm not here because I'm studying. I'm writing papers. I'm trying to deal with the kids in the evening. It was intense.
Right.
But I know that you compromised a lot during that time, and I feel like you compromise all the time for us.
Yeah, but it's part of marriage, and it's my heart is to serve us.
Is that marriage is about compromise.
Yeah,
You're not going to always win. And I was saying this earlier. You pick your battles.
Yeah.
There's certain things that I'm just like, okay, like you got it. Like I'm not even going to like, okay, even if it's something that I don't like, you know what I mean?
But I do this for us too. Like,
Yes.
yes, it's compromise, but it's to better the
marriage.
the
Exactly.
marriage,
Exactly.
right? Like, okay, you're going to school, but I know you're gonna graduate and you're gonna make more money
For the family.
for us.
Exactly.
You know? So,
but you know who Lady, our friend, Miss Negron, who we it's on one of the episodes. She definitely broke it down on compromising in marriages, and I think she did an amazing job at that. Go watch that episode.
yeah. Yeah. So compromise. I wrote, no two people are exactly alike in a marriage. It's important to find a middle ground that works for both partners. Knowing a compromise can help avoid unnecessary conflicts. And I wrote here, meet in the middle. Take turns with TV, with money, with spending. Because, sometimes you disagree on money. For example, like let's say you want to buy something that costs $10,000, right? But the partner wants to spend $2,000. So then meet in the middle. How about spending $5,000-$6,000? It doesn't, or like spending time. Oh, you want to do this project, and you want to, let's say, spend time with the boys or the girls. Then you take turns. One day you do it, and then the other person take care of the kids, and then the next time the other person does it.
I mean, we compromise like that when we first have kids, right?
Right.
Like it's always like my Hans is always like, all right, babe, you sleep tonight. I'll stay up. Meaning, I'll stay with the baby. Meaning, he's gonna wake up every 2 hours to feed the baby.
Yeah, we took turns when the baby was born.
When the babies were born, yeah.
Like I did night shifts, and then you did day shifts.
Yeah.
Because whatever was more comfortable.
More comfortable for us.
Yeah. But at the same time. At the same time, like I would do night shifts, and then you wake up in the middle of the night, like,
yeah, I'm a mom.
How's the baby? Is he breathing?
Moms do that.
Yeah, I guess.
Moms are just, we do that. Even though you are taking care of the baby, we want to make sure it's okay. We have that mom instinct. It's different for us.
So yeah, definitely compromise these 9 years. Constantly, and then you learn about each other in that process of their likes and dislikes, and yeah, meet in the middle. Right?
Yeah.
Number 4, keep the romance alive. Just because you're married, it doesn't mean that the romance has to end. Take time to show affection and then surprise each other with small gestures. And plan a date night or keep the spark alive. Keep the romance alive, babe. These
You
9
do
years.
amazing in this
These
area.
9 years, yeah?
He for sure does extraordinary. He's always planning dates, always telling me, take this day off. We got to do this. Like, he is definitely the one planning. I never stopped him because I love going on dates.
No, you love it. You love it.
I love dating my husband. It's amazing to date him. Love you, baby.
I love you too, my love.
Un besito. Te
De
amo.
lejos te voy.
But it's definitely amazing to date him. He is affectionate. He is loving. He is caring. He is the man of my dreams. And guys, don't get it twisted. This was never like this before.
Right. It's gotten
It's
better.
gotten better.
It's gotten way better.
Absolutely. Our friendship, our relationship,
yeah.
our marriage has grown because we haven't stopped dating each other. And I think that's key. It's so easy to get accustomed and comfortable with people, with your partner, right? And then you're just like, all right, enough.
Right. Get routine, and then
But
you stop going out. You stop
having sex.
having sex.
You stop doing a lot of things.
Yeah. You act like roommates.
Yeah.
And you start just hanging out with your friends, and then you don't hang out with your partner. It's like, nah, like you need to keep the romance alive. Like you are together.
And not that you cut off your friends, right?
Right.
Because you should never cut off your friends. But I think that it's also hard for your friends at time not to understand the stage that you're in your
Right.
life, right? And
Especially
so
your single friends.
right, your
that they
single
don't
friends
know.
that don't know what marriage is like. And so, I mean, that's happened to me. That happened to me earlier in my marriage where I lost some friends, and lost in fact that not that we don't speak anymore, but it's just a distance. We're not as close as we used to be, which I miss. I miss my friends that I don't have that relationship anymore with, but I was in a different stage in my life and they weren't accepting of that. And so we grew apart.
Right.
We grew apart, which was hard. It was hard, but I love them. I love them a lot and I miss them, but I definitely didn't want to stop loving my husband because I was stuck in a stage in my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But definitely dating. Dating it's great.
Yeah.
9 years and we still date.
We still date.
I mean, when I go out on a date with you, I get dressed up.
Yeah, you still.
I make sure that my nails are right,
you
my
keep it
toes,
cute.
my clothes look.
keep
I
it-
even be picking out outfits and everything.
You're a little snacky, you know?
I'm a whole entree, baby. All right? Nah, let me stop. But seriously, I get dressed up, right?
Yeah.
I make sure I look right because that's also important. Tú quieres, you want to be a representation of your household, and that's a part of it. Don't lose yourself when dating. Spice it up.
Spice it up. And that's definitely got to keep the romance alive. And as a man, and we've said it in previous podcasts, men take the initiative to do that. Like, take the initiative to take her out on a date. Don't even tell her where you're going. Just be like, get dressed, get nice this day at 7:00. We out.
Like right now, I want to do something for my birthday, and my husband's like, "This day you can't because I have something planned," and I'm like, "But I want to do something. Like I want to do dinner," and I appreciate that he does those things because I probably want to do something, and then at the end I'm like, "Whatever, I'm just gonna stay home. I'm not gonna do anything."
Right.
And it's harder for me because I share a birthday with 2 of our kids,
Okay. Yeah.
and so it's easy to forget me. Right, because it's
I'm
my
not-
children now. It's all about my kids now.
I'm not forgetting you, though.
I said not you. I said it's easy for me to forget me because it's all about my. You would never forget me. I love you.
I love you too, my love. But yeah, keep the romance alive. Number 4. Number 5. Learn to forgive. Right? I think we shared a little bit of this on last podcast. Yeah, but this is like things we've learned in our 9 years to learn to forgive.
What have I done to you that you've had to forgive me for?
Oof, my heart is taped up a lot.
Wow, baby, really?
But don't worry, Jesus has healed
Yo,
me.
you make it seem like I'm like this evil person,
Nah.
yo.
No, it's like, listen, in marriage, you got to continuously forgive. And then God calls us. How many times should we forgive? Huh?
I mean, how many times did God forgive us?
Exactly. He continues to forgive us.
And continues.
And that's what you should extend to your partner, to forgive. And obviously, if it's like infidelity or something crazy like that has happened to each, that's a different scenario. But I'm talking about like things. Sometimes you get bitter with your partner, and it builds anger and bitterness in their hearts, and you have to let that go. Because you're doing it more for yourself too, because you're drinking poison, right? When you don't forgive. So we need to continuously forgive our partner.
And I feel like the forgiveness is A lot of that comes from when you're not wanting to forgive is your ego, your self
Ego.
ego of not letting go.
Now you too angry.
You
You
don't
be
want
like,
to, you don't, right. You're just resistance to letting go and being wrong at times, or just
right.
letting go and just be
Now
like,
I'm
you
not
know
gonna give him
what?
the benefit of the doubt to
Yeah.
even be forgiven,
But
because
that's
like,
like you drinking poison.
yeah, you're
Like
being
you just
spiteful.
spiteful. And it's like, what is that going to get you to like, why are you doing that to the
Right.
person you love? Because you married this person, not just because of a wedding. Like,
Right.
yeah, a wedding is great for 6 hours, then reality hits. You know what I mean? So that forgiveness is key. I mean, it's not easy.
Right.
It's not easy. And I know we said this before. Like, when you forgive, make sure you forgave. And you're not bringing that back up. And don't say what I used to say back in the day. You know, Sarah BC, Sarah before Christ.
Yeah. Yeah.
She used to be like, I forgive you, but I don't forget. Then you're not really forgiving.
Right. You're
You know what
not.
I
Yeah.
mean?
If you bring that back up, then
You're not really
you're not
forgiving.
forgiving.
Tú estás ahí todavía in the struggle. So it's definitely important to forgive, forget, and move on, because that's poison. That's
Facts.
poison.
Facts. So yeah, definitely with us, and sometimes it can take time to even come to that stage of like, because your ego, you're so filled. Sometimes take a break. Go step out,
Walk away.
walk away. Go take, go drink some Gatorade, relax, and come back, and then you can approach the problem maybe the next day sometimes, because sometimes it gets so heated that whatever argument that you guys have.
Yeah.
So yeah, number 5, learn to forgive. No one is perfect, and mistakes are inevitable.
We're human.
And forgiving each other for past hurts can help avoid resentment and build up.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Number 6, in our 9 years, work as a team. Right? We got to work as a team.
All the
We
time.
on the same team.
All the
We got to
time.
remember that we had to constantly, always remember we are on the same team. We're not battling each other. And yeah, we've had battles, right? We've had like always like sometimes some sort of power struggle, right? Like who's right, who's wrong. But hey, we're on the same team.
Right. Remembering we're on the same team.
And we got children who view us as, their guide, their leaders, their
Right.
guide, their
Right.
parents.
Their guide.
And we have to be that leading figure.
Right.
So we have to work as a team. Marriage is a partnership, and it's important to work together as a team to achieve common goals. Whether it's raising a family, managing finances, or pursuing a shared hobby, teamwork can help strengthen the bond between the partners. Yeah, work as a team, even with your finances, your goals that we have, especially for us that we have for each other. We have goals, financial goals, get out of debt, and then in the future for us.
Right.
So remembering that we are together and we have to work as a team, and always know that you're my teammate.
All the time.
You're not against me. You just, sometimes I can view it like that, but you might disagree about something.
Right.
That doesn't mean that you're not on my team.
Right.
You just disagree.
And that's okay. We are two different people
Right.
with two different sets of brains, two ways of thinking. It's like we have the same love for Christ and we have that, right? But the way we view things is differently. We have our own opinions.
Yeah. Yep. Work as a team. Number 7, maintain your individuality.
What does that mean for you?
That, sometimes you get so caught up in your marriage and your partner, and you don't focus on your own. Sometimes you have your own passions and goals and desires, like in your own hobbies, right? And you have to maintain your individuality. Sometimes in your marriage, that gets lost
Absolutely.
because you're just so focused on the kids, yourself, your partner,
Right.
work.
Right.
Like, you got to maintain who you are and your likes and dislikes, and you like to play soccer, or you like volleyball, or you like to paint, or whatever your hobby is, or
Watch TV.
whatever you
Watch IDTV.
oh,
Criminal shows.
your murder shows.
My murder shows.
I'd be like, yo, you need to stop that, because
I can watch
someone,
binge.
yeah, but I'd be like, yo,
I
someone's
know.
gonna kill us, and then
You know what's funny is that I be in bed sometimes watching these shows, and then I'm like, yo, what if a home invasion happens? Oh my God, they can just kick this in. Like, I'd be extreme. But anyways, but it's true about the individuality. And not only that, like, yes, we are one, but not forgetting your friends. Like, I feel like we have our friends outside of our marriage. And some friends, we have mutual friends. And some friends are individual friends. And some of those mutual friends are other couples that you go out with the guys, I go out with the girls kind of thing, which is also important, because even though we are one and we are a marriage, it's also important to have your own time. It's very important to have your own time. And that is a part of that individuality.
yeah. And I wrote here, it's important to maintain your own interests, hobbies, and friendships. Like you were saying, respecting each other's individuality can help prevent feelings of suffocation or resentment from building up over time.
I think that for me, that friendship thing, I go back to my friends that I had. And maybe it was some of me too, you know what I mean? Some of me of like, all right, I got to focus more here. And maybe so sudden of like cutting off certain things that we were doing together. Because I think about those things a lot. Like, what happened? You know what I mean? Like, what happened to our friendship that it just dissolved? You know what I mean?
Right.
I think a lot of it also is that I was in a different stage of my life. But also, it may have been that I didn't give it as much follow-up as I did with my husband. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I'm really good at following up with people.
Yeah, you good? Better than me.
I think those are one of my strengths. Like, I will call you, I would text you, and I'll follow up with you. Like, today you told me your head hurt. Tomorrow I would text you and be like, hey, how's that headache?
Sure, you good at that.
Like, I would do that. And I think that I do that more now, and I'm more subconscious of that because of those friendships that I lost. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
So making sure that in your marriage, you don't change, you don't abandon those friendships, because even though you're married, those friendships are important.
Yeah. All right. Number 8, over 9 years, we've had to learn to practice patience and grace with each other, right? Like, in 9 years, it's a constant. We have to be patient with each other and grace, because we're not the same person. So my habits you might not like, and there's habits that you do that I don't like.
Can I say one habit that I don't like?
Oh yeah, honey, speak your mind, my love.
My husband has this habit that when he eats,
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I was like, Esa, me va a decir about my plates. I said that. I was like, yo, watch her. Bleep, bleep, bleep. She's gonna say about the plates. But you know what? I grew.
So can I say
go
first?
Go ahead.
So my husband has this habit that when he eats, he doesn't take his plate to the sink. He just leaves the plate there, and he'll leave it there, and then he gets up and goes and sits in the living room and just is like, like he enjoyed that. But like, the sink was like right there, like he had to pass it in order to get to the living room, and it's like, well, why didn't you just pick up the plate? Like, that takes me to another level. Like, that irks me, and I'm always like, bro, tú no tienes una esclava aquí. Like, come and pick up your plate. And I know I always get at you for that, right? I'm always like, babe, the plate.
Can I explain myself?
Explain yourself now.
So, I grew up with my mother doing everything for me, right? And that was I would say that was the Dominican culture.
Absolutely.
Right? Where the mom, the wife stays home, and she would do all the house chores and take care of the kids. And then, my mother was doing my laundry. She did everything. So as far as like independence, it wasn't something that I was like taught.
Right.
And then I bring it to my marriage.
Oh, absolutely.
But that in an American culture is very independent. Wash your dishes, do your own thing. You even leave your house, because in our Caribbean, South American culture, even kids don't leave their houses. They typically move either next door or on the second floor of the family.
Right. We're very close knit.
So that knit. So, anyways, I grew up with my parents doing everything for me. My mom, specifically my mom. So,
your mom still does things.
My
so
mom,
when she comes over, she does things for us all the time. Too, and all the time, she does things for us. Like we would pick. She lives in the Bronx, and so even if we pick her up, she'll have dinner ready for us in the car. Like, coman ahora. Like, eat now. Like, she's so maternal. I mean, I love my mother-in-law. She's amazing. I love her. Like, she's my mom. Like, she's just amazing. I have such a great relationship with her. She knows que es el amor mío. I love her to death, but definitely that area, you have definitely brought that, and that's something that I've been trying.
Have you forgiven me? You got to forgive me.
No, I've forgiven you.
You got absolutely patience and grace.
That's what I'm working on, having more patience and grace in that area, because it's hard for me. I grew up in a home where you pick up after yourself. I mean, my household, we were more, right? It's 5 of us. We're 5 sisters, and so it wasn't like, oh, you get up and you get up. And cuidado, if you didn't get caught at the sink, you washing everybody's plate at that point. You know what I mean? So it was a different life for me. But that's definitely something I definitely am working on, giving you more grace and
thank you, babe.
Patience with that, because it's funny that you thought I was going to say that, because Yeah. That's definitely. I mean, but vice versa, right? I do things that irk you too, like. I have one in my head right now.
Go ahead. I can't think of anything. I'm going blank. But no, I'm pretty sure.
Really? Okay, we can leave it at that.
No. Speak now, forever hold your peace.
No, we can leave it at that. I mean,
okay.
I have a few. I think one of them is I do walk around naked.
Oh, yeah. Like, yo.
And you're like, put clothes on. And I'm just like, oh, okay. Like, it's so normal for me. I'm just walking around butt naked all the time. But I've been more conscious because now my kids are older. Right. And I'm like, all right, I can't be walking around naked.
That's a Caribbean thing too. People walking around naked.
Well, I don't know if it's a Caribbean thing exactly, because I have Caribbean friends and they don't be walking around naked. But
I'm not naked, but like exposed a little bit.
Right. Being exposed, like I know in my household with my mom in my mom's house, my nephew was always in my mom's house. Like my mom practically helped raise my nephew. And my mom would get butt naked in front of my nephew. He's 14, 15 years old. Like she's butt naked. And I'm like, I think about it now and I'm like, that is not okay.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it was a house full of women. He was the first boy to be, you know what I mean? It was very different for us. But yeah, that's not okay. That is not okay. Nah. Also a bad habit that I have is when I come out the shower, I get dressed, I'm getting dressed. I just throw the towel, like I have the towel on and I have my clothes at the bed. I'll put my towel on the bed and get dressed. And that bothers you a lot.
The towels
so you
on
have
the bed.
grace and patience over me?
But you're not doing that much.
I don't, because I've been very careful with that. Right. I've been practicing a lot.
Right.
Trying to change some habits for my husband.
Yeah. Like, sometimes when the toilet paper runs out in the bathroom and I need one, I would,
have grace, so I can have grace over you.
Have grace over me. Oh no, the towel. When I forget the towel, I take a shower. I take a shower. Right.
I hope so.
I take a shower and I'm like, ooh, I'm done taking a shower. I come out the bathroom. I forgot my towel. I'll be like, man, está aquí, no me va a buscar nada. I'll be like, babe. And she probably is in front of...
But guys, by the way, we have a master bedroom and our bedroom has a shower in our bedroom.
We had a shower in our bedroom, right?
So I'm like literally right on the bed.
She's probably outside the door, right? And I'm thinking she's in the kitchen. And I'm like, yo, babe, can I get a shower? Can I get a towel? And I don't hear nothing. She, cricket. And I'm like, man, now I gotta come out this bathroom,
mad wet,
cold, because the fan is on blast. And I'm like, I run out the bathroom, and I'm like, she's right there. I'm like, yo, you couldn't get me a towel? She says, nah, you need to get that yourself. I'm not getting the
guys.
I'm like,
let me give you some back
so
content.
have some grace on your husband getting towels next time.
That's another.
But I put it because next time, cause she be struggling for stuff. I'm like, oh, you remember? Well, you don't get a towel for me?
We don't do tick for tack. Remember that.
Nah, you're right. But it be burning inside my soul. Like,
You're making me
I'll be
laugh so much.
burning
My
like,
cheeks hurt.
no, pregunta, ask me for something. Ask me for something, because I'm gonna be like,
That's at the moment you be tired. Then you forget when I
then I
ask you.
forget.
But let me tell you some bad content. He does this every day.
No, I don't do that every day.
E- Baby.
I don't do that. I don't do that like I
Fine.
used to, babe.
Every not as bad as you used to. You're getting better.
Mm.
But what he takes a shower, guys. So our master bedroom has a bathroom, right? And so he comes out the shower, and he comes to get dressed, and then he just like hangs his towel either on my jewelry set or
Mm-hmm.
on the door, the closet
Not on the
door.
bed.
No, not on the bed. On the closet door or on the. Those are the favorite parts that you like. The closet door or my jewelry holder.
Yeah.
And every time I see it there in the morning, I cringe because I'm like, watch tonight. He's gonna need a bed. So when he goes into the shower, I now don't go into the bed. I don't go into the bedroom. I be like, I want to see what he's gonna do. And then, but sometimes I change his towel and I get him a new towel and I hang it up for him. Those are the days that I'm having grace and patience for you.
Yes, that's what
But he does this like every other
we've
day.
learned, and we're growing. We're learning
You
to
made me
be
laugh right now
patient.
so hard that my cheeks were
Yeah,
hurting.
your cheeks hurt. No, we've learned to be patient and have grace for each other. That's part of marriage, you know.
Those are the fun moments that I see him come up butt naked. I'm laughing like. For me.
Yeah.
Those are moments that we could never.
You better nail that
when
on
we
the
get
cross,
old, maybe when we get old, we're gonna be laughing at these moments of our lives.
Yeah, true that, true that. So yeah, practice patience and grace. Have realistic expectations. You know, practicing grace. No one is perfect, and no marriage is without challenges, right?
Right.
But yeah, having realistic expectations with your partner and your marriage can help prevent disappointment and frustration. Because those, be patient, and you have these expectations how your partner is going to be, and no, you got to practice patience and grace because your partner they have more flaws, and these other, character flaws that you got to have patience for,
Absolutely.
and your expectation, bring it down because. Or
partner-
else you're gonna disappoint yourself and you're gonna get mad.
I was about to say
like
that.
if you have this expectation that your partner is always gonna get you a cheeseburger every time that you get out of work and you get mad or whatever. I'm just giving you an example, crazy. But whatever expectation you have, like this perfect partner that
Right.
they're gonna react a certain way or they're reading your brain, no, drop those expectations. Like, be patient, have grace, and
I feel like you had to do that a lot in our marriage. Drop those.
I have to continue. I have to
Right.
remind myself that, something because you expect your partner to change or be different. And it's like, no, however you see, the way I see it, however you see your partner now, this is how they're going to be for the rest of their life. Like, you got to see that. This is how your partner is going to be for the rest of your life.
Well, I don't know if they're gonna be
No,
like
no, no.
that. for
But
the
have
rest
that
of
expectation because if that's how I look at it.
Right.
Like, they're not going to change. So don't try to change them. You need to love them how they are now.
Right.
Like if you think your partner is gonna hang up their towel every single time, don't don't have that expectation. You know what I'm saying?
Got you.
That's all.
You. Okay.
Number nine for our 9 years.
9 to make the 9 years.
9 years. Take responsibility for your actions.
Oh, that's a big one. I feel like that one for me is big. That one for me is big because I know very early in our marriage when we used to get into these arguments that were just retarded over like avocado. Like there was just like pointless arguments, right? But that's when you bring two lives together, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that I would have messed up and my pride wouldn't allow me to say sorry. And I'll just and this is how I would apologize. I'm like, well, if you felt like that, then okay. And I'm like I think about that now, right? As
Right.
we're more mature,
That's a funny.
as we're
like,
more mature in our marriage, and I'm just like, that wasn't even an apology. You know what I mean?
right.
Like,
I'm sorry if you felt that way.
yeah, I'm sorry if you felt
Instead
that
of
way,
saying
but-
I'm sorry,
right?
you'd be like, I'm sorry if you felt that way. Come on, like that's a half-ass apology.
Exactly. So for me, that one is big. I've had to learn to do that. So
Nah, you're right. No, and me too. What I think of is to take responsibility for like the words that you've said, that I've said like towards you, and like some of the disrespectful things that I've said. Take responsibility and apologize. Like, hey, this was me. I messed up.
But I feel like
I was wrong.
you've been good at taking responsibility for the things that, like, when you do something, you have apologized and been like, oh, I apologize for saying that, or like today with the rolling of the eyes, I corrected, I brought it to your attention and you apologized right away. Or sometimes, like, I say something, like today I said something else on our way to church. I said something, and your reaction was usually like when you're venting, and I start correcting you, like, well, you should have taken responsibility for that. That was probably your fault. And you're like, I'm not here for you to preach to me. Like, I'm here for you to listen to me vent. You know what I mean? And so today I did something similar to you, like telling you something, I was venting to you, and you were like, but this and this, and like you were bringing things to mind, and I'm like, babe, this is the same scenario. Like, I had to bring it out there, and you were like, nah, you're right. So you're good at doing that. I feel like I have struggled more in taking responsibility for those things.
And I've noticed like I'm quick to do it because I don't want to
The tension or the argument.
yeah no, and not only that, like you should be quick to apologize, quick to forgive, right? Because it builds resentment and unforgiveness in your heart. So I don't want that in my heart. I don't want that. Like, I don't want that venom. I don't want. So be quick to forgive, because it gets harder. Let's say you don't forgive. Guess what? You think it's gonna be easier tomorrow,
That's the
or
thing
next
that I've
week,
learned.
or next month.
Yes.
It gets harder the longer you
Yes.
prolong that conversation with that person, or that family member, that friend, that spouse. The longer you prolong it, the harder it really becomes
To come back.
So when you do it quick, it's just easier. Get it out the way.
And that's venom. That's like venom to your marriage. Like, I feel like those arguments where you are not talking for 2 or 3 days, I don't like those arguments. And I don't think
Right.
that we are there, that we don't talk.
No,
for
we've
2 or
had
3
it. I remember.
no, I'm saying we're not there now. We've
Right, right.
had those times, and it doesn't feel good. That's why I'm like, it's not good. Like, I hate those moments that I don't get to talk to my best friend.
Right.
Like, I miss you. I'm like,
Aw.
I want this to be over, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, it
You want to
hurts.
hug me at night, right?
Yeah, but I'm so mad. I don't even want you to touch
Don't
me.
touch me.
Yeah.
Don't touch me. And then
I mean, no me hable. I mean, no me toque. Like, I don't want you. But inside, I'm dying. I'm like, and then it doesn't make sense, right? Like, when you're not in that turbulence, it's just, you reflect back and you're like, why? You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's definitely so important not to hold on to those things and really let go and take responsibility for your actions. Like, if you messed up, step up
Step up.
and be like, yo, my bad. I did that and I apologize for that. And really be authentic about your apology. Be sincere about that apology. Because I'm one to call it out and be like, are you really just saying sorry, or are you just saying that so I can shut up? You know what I mean? Like, I call you out, like, well, what are we doing? Like, I want that apology to be sincere, and I want that to be really authentic.
Yeah. So that was number 9. But I was like, you know what? Let's do a bonus. I did a bonus. Let's do one more bonus. All right. And number 10 in something that we've learned in our relationship in the last 9 years is to seek help when needed. Right? Sometimes marriages require outside help from a therapist, a counselor, or a mediator. Being willing to seek help when needed can help prevent small problems that turn into big problems and that can damage your relationship. So, and I know we've done that, like when we've had big arguments we see like there's no resolvement, we go to our friends,
And I'm saying, and when we say friends,
I mean, like,
don't go to your single friends.
nah. We go to like our marriage.
Go to your
couples.
married couples that you sincerely confide in, right? Because that's important. I mean, to be transparent and be real. Like, guys, anybody that tells you that they don't argue or that they don't have conflict or that there's no downtime in their marriage, eso, yo de verdad, it's hard for me to believe.
Right, right. No, yeah.
Marriage is work, and there's gonna be disagreements. It's two different lives, two
Yeah.
different mindsets, right? And so now, if you're telling me like the intensity of it is not okay, that's something, right? Because everybody argues different. Like I argue to shoot to kill. Like
Right.
everybody argues differently. But when help is needed, reach out.
Reach out.
Reach out to
Seek
that.
help.
Seek help.
Therapy, marriage therapy
Don't
too.
die.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've done the marriage therapy. We do individual therapy. And going to therapy doesn't mean always that something's wrong.
Yeah.
You're going to make sure that nothing
Yeah,
becomes a problem. You
yeah.
know what
And
I mean?
I take therapy too with
We do both take our
we
therapy.
both, yeah, individually.
Individual therapy.
And it's great to get an outside perspective, and you speak to them about your marriage and what's going on, and
Life.
life in general, and just like, not that anything's wrong, but you want to get a different
A
perspective.
neutral person.
A neutral person that you can get professional help, and a different point of view. And I've seen it too. Like I've seen like the different perspective on like even like life. Like I went to a session, and we'll just keep this between us. We won't tell nobody. That in the session we were just talking about like work, right? And like the dynamic of work and the amount of hours that I'm putting in and stuff like that. And he a lot of times the therapist is always like, so what do you think about it? Like getting you to talk more. And I'm like, no, like I sometimes feel like I'm working a lot of hours and I have these goals, and but I understand it's only temporary. And then he's like, well, you only have your children for a certain time, right? So it's like, okay, your goal, let's say for us is I want to pay more debt.
More of our debt.
So it requires us to work more hours.
Yes.
He's like, okay, so you putting more time, that extra year, right, of overtime, but you lose that year with your children. It's like, what if you push it off? You're just saving that 1 year, right? What if you like reduce your hours to have more time with your children, but it takes you a little longer to pay off your debt? Is that worth it? And it was like, man, I didn't look at it like that. Like
Right.
sometimes it's that balance. Like I understand you got things to do, debt to pay. And it's like, man, you're right. Sometimes it's great to get professional help because you get a different perspective.
But I also think that maybe a lot of the older couples never got professional help because therapy was looked down upon.
Right. But now it's being more available,
more acceptable. Therapy was always looked at as for the crazy.
It was frowned down upon.
Yeah. So now it's much more accepted, and it's important. Like it's so important to get help, and not only that, but also to seek someone else, a neutral person, just to speak about life. Like this life that we live is hard. Adulting is hard. Like it's hard, and to be able to be transparent with somebody that is neutral. A good therapist is a neutral person you don't feel no judgment from. You are able to just pour out, right? It's also important. It's important. I mean, I've definitely have self goals of my own growth that I'm trying to work on, and having therapy, being able to go to therapy, it's amazing. Like, I have my own things that I struggle with. I have high anxiety. People look at me and I'm like, how? You're so put together. And you like, I have anxiety. Like it's severe anxiety. And sometimes it overwhelms me. And being able to go to therapy and work on that anxiety. And not only that, but also being transparent with my husband. Like we talked about that earlier in this podcast of being transparent with my husband. Like when I have anxiety or I'm feeling the anxiety, I tell my husband right away, like I'm feeling this. This is a feeling I'm feeling,
Right.
Like, or sometimes I'd be like, oh babe, today I was feeling that anxiety and I stopped working and I was just like, gave time to God. Like whatever my lunchtime was, I just gave my time to God and poured upon God because I know God has control over my life and has control over me. And I give that to him. I have no ownership. Like anxiety has nothing over me. And I have to constantly, that's a battle that I constantly, and
Yeah.
being able to be transparent with my therapist and be like, yo, this week was hard. You know, I had this anxiety. I had this moment and for her to, it's a female I have. And so I love the fact that she acknowledges my faith and my relationship with Christ. Like she calls it, your God time. And so she'll be like, so what did you do? Did you turn to your God time? Because I know that's important to you as your first step. Did you do that? Like she always brings it back to that. And I appreciate
Nice.
the fact that she acknowledges
That's dope.
my faith. You know what I mean? She acknowledges my relationship with Christ
Mm-hmm.
as something that is utmost important and the first thing in my life of
Nice.
importance.
Nice.
So I think that that's also important, being transparent. Like when having a fit with your therapist, letting your therapist know, like, God is number one in my life.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what I
me
mean?
too. Yeah,
Because that helps that
dynamic.
dynamic and that understanding of where you're coming from in your therapy. So for sure.
Yeah, most def. So yeah, guys, those were 9 lessons plus one bonus
That's a bonus.
of our 9 lessons we've learned and continue to learn and
Continue.
and apply in
Yes.
our lives in our marriage and of 9 years so far. So no, guys, we pray that this has blessed you. You know, it has encouraged you, and we just pray over everyone that's watching and hearing that, you know, apply this to your lives too. It's better to not only learn from your mistakes, but learn from other people's mistakes,
Absolutely.
right? Like, so learn from the mistakes that we've made and take that, run with it, and apply it. You know, and yeah,
We declare healing over any marriage, clarity, you know, seek God. He is the way,
yes,
and He will be able to carry you through any turbulence that your marriage is going through, any decision that you're going through too, because I know that not only married couples watch us, but even single people, you know, all my single people out there, we were single at one point in our lives.
Yeah.
And so if you're not right, you're going to bring that into your marriage. So understanding what things you have to work on as an individual, you know, and remind yourself, no marriage is going to make you happy. Nobody is going to make you happy if you don't make yourself happy. How can I give that job to my husband to make me happy if I can't make myself happy? So declaring healing, clarity, and just praying for an amazing week to come. And continue watching us, guys. Don't forget, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, and of course, our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Join us, subscribe, like,
Yep,
and
yep.
share, guys.
Yeah, we're on every week. Check it out. Check out the other videos we have on our channels. And no, guys, thanks for hanging out.
It's
We love
been
you
real, guys.
Peace.